Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to assemble a model kit, and I'm also here to hang out with all of you. And I'm going to start things off, like always, by throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi, or you could just use other people's emotes. If you feel like being a lurker, you've got that option. John is here. Laura Crashin says, "Hey Pat, yell ad break like you yell remix in classic hip hop songs." And Lashbrook is here as well. Yes, I did a sing-songy thing with like take an ad break. I don't know why I did that in the pre-show. But yes, you can go ad break, ad break. Here comes another ad break. Pat, are you giving him another ad break? Something like that. Something to that effect. DJ Pat Baer's giving you an ad break. That kind of thing. I can do something like that. I don't know. I haven't worked on it. You know what I mean? I would want to add some effects to it. I do a little bit in post. Because like I wouldn't want to do it live all the time. I would want to have a button that I would hit that would just go, "It's time for an ad break." That kind of thing. And there'd be like a whip cracking sound and an air horn. I'll say this. Look, I don't listen to the fucking radio anymore, but there weren't enough whip crack sounds. Those went out of favor in like the 90s, and I think they should come back because the whip crack sound effect pretty much got replaced by air horns, and I think air horns might be a little overplayed. Make an ad break audio bite to put on your soundboard. Yeah, I don't have any room. I'd have to do another page because I have the Stream Deck Mini. I got the Mini here, so it only has 6 buttons, and one of those buttons is the Bear Cave button, which gives me 5 sound effects, 4 sound effects really, and the transition button to the overhead camera, because one of the 6 buttons has to be go back. So I would have to embed, I would have to take away a slot to make another page. So I could take away one of these to make another button that I could then hit to do another 5, and then go back and then go back. Yes, got to use folders. My main page has intro, main, and game. Those are the 3 main ones. Karaoke is a scene, but I don't use it that often, so I just do it manually. The record button, and then the mute button. Muting my mic, I actually probably could remove that and do another folder of audio, but I like having this mute button. And the record button is helpful for recording videos outside of the stream. Now, there's one button I don't have on this. That's important. I don't have the go live button or the stream button. That's only in OBS. I have to click on that. And that is to prevent me accidentally pressing that button by mistake and not starting a stream, because that would be weird if I did that. I don't want to accidentally end a stream before I am ready to end it. So I don't want it to be a button. I don't mind accidentally muting myself. And I do mind accidentally ending a recording, but if I'm doing it's a live stream, I always have the VOD on Twitch. I can just rip as soon as possible, download it, and then upload it to YouTube. So I have a backup in case something gets wonky there. All right, let's go to the overhead camera. Hey, we're working on the Lightning Z Gundam. I will talk about the Lightning Z Gundam when we get this centered here. As we build it, we got the head, the chest, the arms all done. We're working on the feet right now, and then we'll move on to the legs. Some of this we can do at the same time. Some of these we'll have to do separately. So we'll just go about our business and do that. Now, I'm going to talk AW Revolution 2026. We're going to go through the whole show. We're going to go through the whole card. I'm first going to talk about some other news because I don't know how long I want as much time as possible to rant about AW Revolution and the good stuff that happened on it and the unbelievably bad thing that happened on it. So I will just do a couple quick little things here. Some updates to previous stories. Perhaps we'll start with that. There's nothing I can really say about this other than Saudi Arabia has another 5% of Capcom, unfortunately. They are investing more in Capcom. They full out, have a majority stake in SNK. And now, yeah, which is really, really rough. Stock was purchased by the electronic game development company investment subsidiary under Saudi Arabian Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salam's Misk Foundation. This is bad. They don't have a controlling interest in Capcom, but they certainly bought more of Capcom. It's not great. You also remember they own Evo. It's bad. It's bad for people that this is continuing to happen. So here's hoping that eventually it stops being a fucking thing that we have to deal with. But right now, it is a thing that we have to deal with. So yeah, I did want to at least mention that. Not paying lip service or anything, but important to mention it. This I thought was a very fucking funny story. There are two very funny stories. The first one is, you may remember that we've talked a bit about Krafton and the folks that were making Subnautica 2 and the CEO of the company, Unknown Worlds, and how they said that the CEO, then CEO Ted Gill, was on breach of contract, and it was very clear by the folks that were suing them that had been let go that Subnautica 2 was on its way to make all of its goals, and therefore Krafton was going to have to pay out bonuses, like hundreds of millions of dollars in bonuses. And they decided the better idea would be to fire his ass. Apparently, so this was a thing that was known, but because of going to court and all that, we learned that Krafton CEO manufactured justifications for termination are pretextual, said the court decision. Cleveland and McGuire had taken on limited roles, and that was long known and accepted by Krafton. As the data downloads, the four employees were acting to protect the studio's work, product, and amid Krafton's takeover attempt, they kept the data confidential and promptly returned it. This is like the stuff. Yes, we'll get to there, John. So they, it was very clear that they fabricated a bunch of reasons. These were things that were known. They were like, oh, these guys aren't around. And it was like, that was part of the plan. And you knew that. You knew that was happening. Why are you acting like this? Is clearly you're just trying to get out of money here. They acquired Unknown Worlds in 2021 for a $500 million equity payout, with up to $250 million in additional earnout for the co-founders if certain sales goals were met by the end of 2025. So basically, Subnautica 2 was on track to come out in 2025. Now, could they have hit those sales goals in 2025? We don't know. We don't know, because Krafton moved the goalposts to prevent the game from coming out in 2025. So there wasn't the chance they had to pay out up to $250 million. We don't know if they would have paid all of it. We don't know if it would have hit that. Subnautica 2 certainly had a lot of buzz around it. But they basically were like, oh, let's fucking figure out how to make this not be a thing. It wasn't until a milestone review in May 2025 as Subnautica 2 headed towards early access on Steam. That's right. They were on their way to early access. They would have made a bunch of money. It's a genre that tends to do well in early access, says Lord Crashington. Truly. Early access, they would have known. The models predicted that a successful August 2025 early access launch of Subnautica 2 with over 1.6 million copies sold by Q4 2025 would generate significant revenue and trigger the earnout. According to judges' findings, this is when Krafton CEO Chang Hang Kim began looking for ways to avoid the earnout. The results of a month-long plan called Project X, which included consulting ChatGPT multiple times for help with the messages, with messaging the change in leadership to fans. It's one thing to have a paper trail, or digital paper trail. It's another to have that include ChatGPT. It's just so fucking funny. It remains to be seen when Sonata 2 will now release and whether it will sell well enough to hit the enormous threshold. Litigation from the lawsuit pertaining to damages from the firing remains pending. Court will still have to decide as part of Phase 2 what monetary damages, if any, result in the entire chaotic affair. This is a report from Kotaku. But basically, they have to reinstate the guy as CEO. Yeah. You're taking notes on a criminal fucking conspiracy. The Wire quote applies here. Yes. Yeah. Yes, the Wire is right for that. While we respectfully disagree on today's ruling, we were evaluating our options as we determine our path forward. Today's ruling does not resolve the former executive's claim for damages or any earn out related to Subnautica 2, with further litigation still pending. In the meantime, Krafton's immediate focus remains unchanged, delivering the best possible game to Subnautica's fans. It's so funny. They're like, we respectfully disagree with the ruling. It's like, yeah, I bet your ass you did. You certainly don't want him to be remade the CEO. Oh, man. Krafton fucking sucks. Yeah. Fuck them. Good fucking job. Yeah, chat GPT for your messaging to fans, because you're like, oh, man, how are we going to face the gamers? Oh, boy. One more feel-good story, and then another update to a previous story we talked about. A bunch of things have come out of GDC. One of them is surveys. Surveys come out, right? A lot of the surveys seem bad. The unemployment rate, the folks that have not been able to find work for more than 2 years, all of that stuff, very bad. One good thing. Only 7% of respondents described generative AI as good for the industry, leaving many of the executives and investors struggling with the issue during their panels. As reported by PC Gamer, Lightspeed venture partners Mortiz Bays-Lentz said he's shocked and sad about the negativity surrounding AI. He holds stakes in many AI firms, most major among them being Anthropic. He hopes that AI skeptics will turn that frown upside down, saying that gaming is often more embracing of marvelous new technology. So basically, a lot of venture capitalists thought that because tech employees love new technology and are generally very accepting of it, that they would be accepting of AI, which is, of course, fucking stupid, because AI is trying to replace them. Dumbass. He suggested in his report that one reason for the pessimism is the same reason for C-suite enthusiasm: layoffs. Of course, this is contextualized by Kotaku. He doesn't say that part. He says the investor suggests that staff reductions come naturally, especially after all of the COVID-era investments in digital entertainment, but many corporations can hardly hide their excitement over automated labor. So basically, he's like, well, I'll concede this. Everybody seems very excited to fire people and replace them with AI, and that makes people not like AI. And it's like, so he is delusional and a fucking dumbass, but he's not fully completely cooked, because he can at least recognize that AI has a bad rep, even if he wishes it didn't. So it's not fully. And of course, this is Kotaku editorializing a bit, but I agree with it. They write, layoffs are merely one of the major wedges between AI and gaming. Even looking past economic instability, environmental damage, and the future appearances at The Hague, through various warring, of course. The resource being set aside for data farms are causing disruptive RAM crunch, raising hardware prices, and turning PC gaming back into a rich person's hobby. And I think that is a very key, like, even if you do not give a shit about using AI for war crimes, which would suck, even if you do not give a shit about environmental impact and the fact that it is poisoning people, data centers are poisoning people, which obviously is fucking a nightmare and sucks. AI is making your PC hobby more expensive. and will continue to do so for many years to come, even after the crash. And that is enough for people to be like, AI fucking sucks. I don't want to hear there's AI in your fucking video game. Get that shit out of here. So that made me a little happy. That was nice. Also, hey, sometimes people like are out there and they're like, CEOs are like, hey, we learned something. And the thing they learned is a thing that anyone could have told them if they asked. And it was just really stupid that they didn't learn that dumb shit. Well, in this case, the CEO of Embark has started to recognize, this is Patrick, I'm going to mess this pronunciation up, I apologize. Patrick Sutherland, I believe it's Sutherland, but it might be something else. It's not Sunderland, there's an O with an umlaut. I don't know, so my apologies. He says that the team at the Arc Raiders crew has replaced many of the text-to-speech lines with real human-recorded dialogue that is better than what they featured at launch. He explained a lot of the in-game voice lines in Arc Raiders are recorded by human actors, and there are now fewer AI-generated lines. We recorded some of the lines post-launch and made them with real voices. They don't want to replace real performers. This is a quality difference. A real professional actor is better than AI. That's just how it is. We look at AI first and foremost as a production tool. We can test things internally. We can test 15 different lines without re-recording them. And then we know what to record. You can also do that. Hey, Lysander, I just want to let you know. I know that he knows that. But it does bear stating that what he's talking about is scratch lines. And anyone can record a scratch line. You can get, for honestly, not that much money. You can get a union voice actor to do scratch line recordings for you, where they just say lines in a bunch of different ways. And then you hire someone else to do the actual lines. And if you really wanted to, if your contract allowed it, you could just have anyone record lines. You know what I mean? Now, in the history of video games, American releases of Japanese video games particularly, but also games from other countries as well, but particularly Japan. When you heard some really genuinely atrocious dialogue in games, often it was because they used the scratch dialogue. They used the scratch recordings from people who are not voice actors. The joke that existed for a long time of just like, oh, they got people from HR and accounting to do the voice acting. That often was the case. It would be people on the design team. It would be people in the office. The floor manager, perhaps, the person that worked the front desk. They would just get people that are like, hey, could we get like 3 ladies to come in and record some lines? Could we get like 2 guys? Do we have anyone with a British accent to record some of these like scratch lines? And then they would just end up in the game because of mistakes or time or laziness, whatever you want to go with. And occasionally they would find, oh wait, this rules. And you have somebody who is not a voice actor by trade, but was trying to bring life to a character in order to pitch that character, and was so good that they became the voice of that character. Like Claptrap is voiced by someone that is not a professional actor, that was just a employee of the company at the time. And then that got fucking in later lots of issues with that because, hey, guess what? If your contract to work there is not your contract to provide voice talent, then you don't have the protections that a lot of other people would have, and it becomes kind of a nightmare. But still, apparently, that's just a thing that Patrick is learning now, which is very silly. But at least they're learning. They learned after the game was out, but they're learning. There are now 550 members of the UVW CWA union. That is the direct to join union. That is the union that anyone who works in the games industry in the United States and Canada can just join. That is the United Video Game Workers CWA. Was a direct-to-join union established in March last year. So after a year, they have 550 members. They're representing that milestone. Basically, one thing that's kind of fucking cool is within hours of announcing it last year, they were up to 100 members. And now they have certainly gotten more, and they are looking to expand that quite a bit more beyond that as well. And we wish them all the best because this is a stream that respects and supports union activity. As you know, anyone that's been here for more than a couple streams knows. Good on them. All right. I have gotten through all of the things I wanted to talk about as far as video game stuff. So now AEW Revolution 2026. We'll go through the card. I'll talk about the highs and lows, the moments I liked, the moments I didn't like, the returns that made me smile, the returns that made me go, yeah, that's about right. The return that made me go, oh, is the news that the upcoming season of Percy Jackson must have finished shooting. Okay. All of those things that came through my head. But we're going to start with me being fucking pissed off. We're at a turning point here with AEW, folks. I might have to take a break from watching pay-per-views. I at present moment, do not feel comfortable giving them money to buy a pay-per-view for an upcoming show. Dynasty in Toronto. I do not feel comfortable buying a pay-per-view for that, even chipping in for a pay-per-view for that, until it is made clear if last night's appearance of Ronda Rousey was a one-off, part of a program, a thing they're going to build on television. Is she going to be involved in a match? Lord Crashington, it fucking sucks. Ronda Rousey appeared at the end of a match. Her legitimately old friend Marina Shafir lost a match against Toni Storm in a match that I thought Marina was going to win, but it's okay that Toni won. I thought that would be the end of this feud. It seemingly is not. And then Ronda came out, and there was some fisticuffs, and it was a thing. And Ronda is now like associated with the Death Riders by Marina being part of it. And now Ronda Rousey has one match with Ring of Honor that happened while Tony Khan owned Ring of Honor. It was a whole thing where she showed up at a show that some Ring of Honor folks were at, and it became a whole thing, and it was like a thing, and it like kind of happened, and it wasn't made like a big deal, and it sucked, certainly, but it wasn't like a recurring thing. It wasn't her entry into the company, anything like that. But now there's this question mark. Now, I'm not going to go into excruciating detail about my feelings toward her. You can check my my Blue Sky feed. She has been for many years a Sandy Hook truther. Someone who believed that perhaps the people that were mourning the loss of children were paid actors or crisis actors. And not everybody who was claiming that they had a kid that died there. That there were questions that needed to be answered. That kind of bullshit. She has, to her credit, finally, at some point, apologized. Around the time her book came out, she did apologize for hurting people. She has never apologized for her transphobic views. She is an anti-vaxxer and has not apologized for that. And also, I look towards the people that she has hurt directly, and a lot of them do not forgive her. And also, the thing about apologies is you don't have to accept them. Sometimes people think, well, they apologized. That's only part of it. That's only to make the person feel better. The other side of the apology is, are you taking steps? Otherwise, it's just words. Are you taking actions? Otherwise, it's just words. Do you still associate with the people that put that put those thoughts in your head? When the answer to that is yes. Now, a thing to remember is that these are things that I need to say here. She is not the worst person in professional wrestling as far as views and opinions go. There are scumbags that work for AEW that I wish were fired. I wish Jay Lethal didn't work there. Accusations, lawsuits settled out of court against Jay Lethal. I wish he didn't work there. I wish he wasn't working with people backstage. There are other folks. To just name him, to name Darby Allin, during the Me Too movement in the early 2020s, there were many people that spoke out about him and his physicality with women that he was dating at the time. Just seems like a real piece of shit. I wish Darby Allin wasn't on all the time. When I say that it fucking sucks they chose to work with Ronda Rousey, there's a thing that is there's an implied thing that needs to be said about here, is that her fucking garbage sucks. Flat out sucks. If I excuse the transphobia, which I wouldn't, if I accepted the apology for the truthing, which I don't, if I put all of that aside because, well, it's a business and tickets sell and name recognition and all that. And you can say that about Darby, and you can say that about Jay Lethal if you want to say those things about them. Ronda Rousey is a bad professional wrestler. She sucks at it. She's not good at professional wrestling. And also, she hates it. She hates the business of professional wrestling and is vocal about how much she hates professional wrestling. Not, oh, she hated WWE. Yes, she hated WWE, but she also hates the very idea of pro wrestling. It's beneath her. These are statements she has made in writing and out of her own fucking mouth. And so I don't put aside her transphobia. And I don't put aside her being a fucking Sandy Hook truther. But also, she's dog shit. It's an unbelievable self-own for AEW, who try to take the high road. A thing to remember is that sometimes when you criticize a thing, people will say, yeah, well, at least it's not blank. And we don't do that here. Because yes, I am glad that AEW is not as evil as the WWE. But that does not give them a pass to work with garbage people. It does not give them that pass. It is fucking infuriating that they decided that part of their first pay-per-view of 2026 was going to be dedicated to talking up a fake MMA fight that she has with Gina, with another piece of garbage. Another piece of garbage for their fake ass Logan brother fight on Netflix. It fucking sucks. Yeah, it's like they already have so many people. Like, if you're chasing names, if you're chasing big wrestling names, then you don't want her. If you're chasing MMA, then you're making the same mistakes that so many people do. The idea that boxing fans will suddenly start to like wrestling is always absurd. The idea that MMA fans will suddenly start liking professional wrestling is always absurd. You are chasing ghosts. They didn't come over with Ken Shamrock. They didn't come over with Ronda Rousey. It doesn't help you. It doesn't get you what you want. It just makes people go, oh, am I not safe at AEW shows? Okay. Guess I'm not fucking safe at AEW shows. It's as I said already on stream, as I said last night, it is an unbelievable self-own. It is an unforced error. Sleeping on it, I stand by this belief that there are unbelievably dumb things that AEW has done. There are really bad choices that AEW has done over the years. And this is one of the top ones. Having and to Tony Khan's credit, he did rescind the offer when they announced that Brian Kendrick was going to have a one-off match in AEW, and the people were like, "Oh, you mean conspiracy theorist, anti-Semitic, insane person Brian Kendrick?" And then that invitation suddenly disappeared. One of Ronda Rousey's favorite people in wrestling, by the way. Unrelated, but that is certainly maybe not unrelated. That was one of their biggest things. Obviously, I said this an example on Blue Sky. Giving Punk the ability to decide who could and couldn't work on one of their three at the time, wrestling shows. When CM Punk got to decide who could be backstage for Collision, including employees of AEW at a backstage role. One of the vice presidents of talent relations wasn't allowed to be on a Saturday taping of the wrestling show. Wasn't allowed to be in the building because of CM Punk, which I still contend is the dumbest decision they ever made. Up there with that is continuing to employ and allowing him to do whatever he wants. Chris Jericho, it was a smart decision to make him the first champion, and ever since then, it has been bad decision after bad decision. That is certainly up there as one of the dumbest decisions they've ever made. There are a few. The decision to air the altercation between CM Punk and Jack Perry. The decision to air that on television. One of the dumbest things they've ever done. Didn't make any sense. Has never made any sense. Didn't help or hurt anyone. It just made them look stupid. Unbelievably dumb. One of the dumbest things they've ever done. There are a few things. There are certainly a few things that exist in there. This is right up there. Making a showcase of Ronda Rousey. Like, hey, guess what? One of the things that's very funny is they already had a celebrity guest on that show that is more beloved, more recognized around the world, and has a better reputation. Not as a fighter, sure, but as a person, as an entertainer, a beloved figure worldwide. Wayne Brady took a bump during the first pre-show match in 0 Hour. They already had Wayne Brady on the show. They already interviewed him, and then he took a bump? That's already better than what they did later. They had already done better than Ronda Rousey. They got the nod from Wayne Brady. Unbelievable. They already had Wayne Brady. Unbelievably well regarded man. It's crazy. It is one of their biggest unforced errors they have ever committed. And it is to the point, as I said, I don't have to pay to watch them weekly. Dynamite and Collision are included in a cable package, so I can just watch them, right? At this point, I am choosing to continue to watch their weekly television. But if she is on the card for if she's on the card for Dynasty, I won't see Dynasty. There will be no reason for me to watch Dynasty if she is on the card. If you're canceling out the goodwill that Wayne Brady brings you, you fucked up. Yeah. I joked when it happened that one of the biggest pops of the night happened in the very first match during the pre-show, which we'll get to. It's not really a joke. One of the biggest pops of the night was a spear done by a child. But it was one of the biggest pops of the night. The show opened with Wayne Brady being interviewed. His finishing move would be called the bitch slap because of the Chappelle sketch. And he was excited to see Swerve and Ricochet. He did mention that he did want to see, he knows they're heels, but he still likes them. Wayne Brady wanted you to know that he knows the wrestling is fake. Minor. Compared to my other grievances, a minor grievance. But it is like, Wayne, you don't have to. You don't have to let us know. We know you know that wrestling isn't real because it's wrestling. And we all know. Like, we know that you are smart enough to know. You didn't have to do that, Wayne. You could have just gone with it. But anyway. It's like you had to tell you that improv is well, it's like the thing where it's just like, hey, just so you guys know, that was improvised. It wasn't scripted. And we're like, yeah, we know, Wayne. We know. And those songs we sang, we didn't rehearse those. We made them up on the spot. It's like, yeah, we know, Wayne. Okay. Everybody's very happy to see Boom and Doom. It's the Costco man and the guy that trained him back in the indie days. Because the Costco man, AJ, was trained as an independent wrestler, did work, and then is now teaming with his partner, who is a better heel than he is a face, but whatever. He's out there doing his thing, making things happen. It's weird. It's still very weird, but it's there. They're Boom and Doom. They took on Charlie Bravo and sorry, let me go through they took on Charlie Bravo and Captain Sean Dean. Wayne Brady took a bump. There was a spear by the little one. Big Boom AJ's got to work on his fucking cardio because he is getting blown the fuck up in these matches. He was blown up pretty early. They won. Everybody's happy. The Rizzler got pushed down by a giant man. And everyone fucking lost their minds. AJ did it okay. Also, they do the Doomsday device. They call the Boomsday device. And AJ they got to start working with smaller wrestlers because he can't really get that wrestler up safely. In my opinion, I am obviously not a worker, but from an audience perspective, I did not feel confident that he had his opponent in the air properly. And so I would say maybe they got to work with smaller guys. Willow Nightingale had a match with Lena Cross. Here's something I can say that's very nice. I can say something that's kind. I like Lena Cross a lot. Lena Cross signed with AEW, or she got the All Elite graphic in the middle of February of last month. And then 1 month later, she was in 2 matches on the pay-per-view. And we'll talk about the other one. And that's fucking rad. Congratulations to Lena Cross. That's awesome. I know Lena more from her time in Sendai Girls. She worked in Britain and spent a bunch of time wrestling in Japan. She had a tag team with Venny, who I love. Venny rules. And Lena did great work with that. She is young. She is tall. She's like tall. She's not just tall for Joshi wrestlers. Amongst Joshi, she is genuinely tall. She's going to get better and better. And being paired with Megan Bayne, I think, is very good for her. She lost the match to Willow, but then they beat up Willow after it, kind of. There was a 21-man blackjack battle royale. There were no surprises in this match, no real returns other than Leo Rush is doing a gimmick he started doing on the indies that fucking sucks. He's just like a weird little man. He's like Chupacabra-esque. He doesn't have like hair or anything, but he's just like a weird... Leo Rush just acts weird now and has like contacts that make his eyes look weird. I don't think it's good for him. I don't think it's better than being a cocky guy in a tag team with Action Andretti. But whatever. The match had some really fun high spots. Jack Perry won. He's the new national champion. That's good for Jack Perry. Hometown pop. He is from the area, from LA. I want to see a longer match between Shibata and Scorpio Sky. I thought that fucking kicked ass. That was fun. Anthony Bowen's trying to be Anthony Bowen's trying to prove he's hard enough to be in the Ops is actually kind of interesting. I don't dislike it because one would assume eventually he's going to realize, wait, the Ops sucks. Why am I trying to be in this? Hopefully that is where the story is heading, that he recognizes that the Ops is a shitty organization, and why that he's been a fool for trying to get recruited by them because they're nothing. Maybe I'm supposed to think that they are something. It's totally possible that I am supposed to think that the Ops is cool, but I don't think that. I think Shibata is cool. I think Samoa Joe is cool. I think Hook needs to learn more about professional wrestling. And also, they shouldn't have him talk. I think Hook talking is a mistake. He should not be leading a faction. He should be silent and brooding. Or if he is going to lead a faction and talk, he should get better at that. That is my general opinion on the state of Hook. Anyway, that match was fun. Let's see. FTR retained over the Young Bucks in a match that was very good and bloody. It opened the full show. It was very bloody. It was very good. It makes sense to put that at the top, considering that the main event was also very fucking bloody. Those four work very well together. I hope I don't see them wrestle each other for the rest of the year. I hope it is at least a year until I see them wrestle each other again, because I do not need to see them wrestle each other anymore, or at least for a very long time. And at the end, Cope and Christian came back out. I guess Percy Jackson season of TV they're making his role in that is completed. And so instead we have them come back. The next pay-per-view is in Canada. It makes sense. There was a whole thing where they injured Beth Phoenix, or Beth Copeland, I should say. Because I don't think she can be Beth Phoenix. She can be Beth Copeland. They injured Beth previously. It makes sense that there would be the desire for revenge. It is what it is. I hope they don't win the belts. Well, I'll say this. I don't really want FTR to be champions anymore. I definitely don't want Cope and Christian to win those belts. There are so many young, talented wrestlers in AEW that I would prefer to see in the tag division doing their thing. It would be great if they got to do the wrestling instead of the group that's currently doing it. Okay, so where does these stickers go? These are tiny stickers. Sticker 10. They go. They go there. Sorry. I'm like, yeah, they go here. Okay. Couldn't figure out where these tiny stickers went. Now I know. Let's see. Yeah, that match was good. Adam Copeland's back. Kristen Cage is back. They're back. Sure. Timeless Tony Storm defeated Marina Shafir. I thought Marina should probably win this one, but she didn't, and that's fine. Tony won, and then, of course, we talked about what happened after that, which sucks. I don't need to relitigate that at all. It just fucking sucks. And again, hopefully it was just that. Jon Moxley defended his Continental Championship against Takeshita. I hate that. I do understand that after this match, we had the return of Will Ospreay, who was put on the shelf. He had to take some time off to heal up some lingering injuries. He didn't get the surgery, but he did get some healing time in. So we're setting up Moxley versus Will Ospreay, which I want to just stress does not need a belt. They could just feud. They don't need to fight each other. They could just have a match. And maybe, actually, honestly, it would make more sense if they didn't have a belt. If Takeshita had beaten Jon Moxley and then had to face, and then immediately, like while he's mad and upset about it, has to go and then fucking fight Will Ospreay. Why did we spend all this time making Jon Moxley a tweener and maybe even a babyface? Why did we do all that? Because no one's going to cheer him when he's facing Will Ospreay. Why did we do all of this? Why? Why did we do any of this? Put a fucking belt on Takeshita. What are we doing? Put a goddamn belt on Takeshita. I don't fucking get it, man. I don't fucking get it. It's really weird booking. Jon Moxley is like a tweener in a stable of heels, but then also has a lot of respect, and it's like, okay, okay, I don't know what are we doing here? I don't know, man. I don't know. It was a great match. Also, I'll admit, I'm probably going to watch that match back at some point because I was still so fucking heated about Ronda Rousey being there that I did not enjoy the beginning of that match because I was just like, what the fuck? What the fucking fuck are we doing here? So I probably need to watch that match again. Let's see. Megan Bayne and Lena Cross, who wrestle under the tag team name. It's definitely a Killed by Energy. Yes, totally. Also, I didn't have a lot of energy for this match because it felt unbelievably inevitable. They were selling that Willow was going to get hurt. Divine Dominion is the name of Megan Bayne and Lena Cross. I don't think Divine Dominion is a good name for a tag team, but I don't really care that much. The most important thing is that they won. They won in 5 minutes. They squashed the shit out of Willow Nightingale. I think that was a huge statement. I think that's a cool idea. It wasn't Harley Cameron. It was Willow who took the pin. And that was cool. And it is the second shortest AEW women's title match in a pay-per-view. The shortest being Tony Storm beat Jamie Hayter in just over 3 minutes once. And that was the shortest women's title match in AEW. So our second champions, you're surprised. Yeah, I think if you draw it out any more than they did, if you make it longer, then you expect the comeback. You expect Willow to rally. Instead, they just had her number. They already beat her up, and they beat her up some more, and then they won. And it was definitive. And now, hopefully, there'll be some. The Brawling Birds are way more accepted immediately. I think the idea is that they want the Brawling Birds program with the Divine Dominion, which makes sense. Swerve Strickland beat Brody King in a brutal fucking match, and then Kenny Omega came out after that because Kenny was doing Capcom stuff and then came out, flew back just to make that, to set up the fact that they are going to have a match. Certainly they're going to have a match at sorry, let me make sure I do this correctly here. They are certainly going to have a match with each other in Canada, because Kenny is a Canadian boy. And so that was brutal. I think that's the right winner. Despite the fact that it was just a normal match without any stipulations, they made it as hardcore as they could. They pushed the boundaries as much as they could. It was fucking devastating in many, many ways. And I don't think it makes Brody look like a punk, but I also don't know what is fucking next for Brody King, and that's a shame. They should have something next for Brody, and it certainly, I don't need to know what that is right now, but I hope they know what that is. I hope they have plans for him, and he doesn't just disappear into like non-existence because he's so fucking good and so over. But yeah, I still don't get Tekla. I don't like when she talks into a microphone. I don't like watching her wrestle. I don't get it, but she won that match definitively, and she needed to beat Chris Statlander in a 2 out of 3 falls. She needed to win that match, and she did win that match. And they needed to end that storyline. They really needed to wrap that shit up, and I think they did. I'm hopeful that they did. I can't imagine they didn't end that shit. I don't know who fates her next. I don't know what happens next. I don't like. To me, Willow should be the world champion. I don't know if it's Chris again. I hope it's not. It could be Thunder Rosa. It could. I would have said maybe it would be Tony Storm. Like Tony would put Tekla over. I don't think that's a good idea, but maybe. I don't know who the babyface is in the women's division to do that. I don't know if Aminata is back fully, because that's the money match in my opinion, because they work so stiff with each other that people are convinced that they're shooting. So I feel like that's the fucking money match. Anyway, I was feeling pretty bummed at this pay-per-view and like going through the motions with some of this stuff, and I popped a bit here and there for some of the things that happened, particularly with the which I thought was a pretty fucking brutal match that happened. Sorry, I need A11. Pretty brutal match with Brody. I got a smile on my face despite everything when Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey came out in their Mystico-inspired gear with their masks that they wore for most of the match. They didn't just take them off, they wore for most of it. And when they came out in that gear, I was like, they're going to win the trios belts. They're going to beat Okada and Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher and win those belts. And they did. They won those fucking belts. And now Mystico has a dual contract between AEW and CMLL, and that fucking rules. Those masks are great. Their gear was phenomenal. It is so fucking funny to me that Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey are now 2-time trios champions with 2 different people. That is very fucking funny to me. It is cool and weird and good, and I am happy for them. Speedball Mike Bailey is a ray of sunshine. They are a fucking force for good, and I am thrilled for them that they have found just about a year after debuting for AEW. They are really finding something. I still think that Jet Speed should be tag champions. I think the Jet Speed should 100% be tag champions, and it is silly that they are not just the tag champions. Instead, they are trios champions with a third. I did like that they won the belts, and that match fucking ruled. The Lucha Hour between that and the second match with Andrade and Bandito. That match also fucking cooked and kicked ass. It was great. It was not for the Ring of Honor title, which makes sense because that way Bandito was going to lose. But I thought it was paced very well. It had unbelievably crazy spots in it. Andrade is a fucking beast, and maybe I'm a little bit worried about what he's putting into his body, if you get what I'm saying there, because yikes. A little yikes about Andrade's current physique. The possibly not since Rick Rude. It really does seem like they could be a trio with anyone. Yeah, Lashbrook. I think a power guy, you could put power guy with Jet Speed and it would work. like they did with Hangman. You could put a brawler. You could put them with a third high, like Commander. Commander has trioed with them before. You could put Commander with them and just have them be high flyers, like Mystico is certainly. Although Mystico is also a ground technician, which Commander is not. Put him with fucking Bandito. That'd be, you know. Also, hey, I think that Bandito's finisher is bad, but the version he did, which was also like a lifting suplex, where he like picked up Andrade off the ground instead of doing it off the ropes, that variation should just be his finisher. That ruled. The like rolling into you deadlift German suplex version of the 21 plex is fucking wild, and that should just be his finisher, because I think the 21 plex is dumb, because the setup for it is bad, because your opponent has to just be like perfect, and you can only think of so many ways to do it until it becomes just completely contrived. But I thought that match ruled, and I thought they were great together. We'll just get through this real quick. There's only 2 more matches left to say. I can't. What the fuck, man? Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors and David Finlay, aka the Dogs, lost their first pay-per-view match, and that is stupid. Roddy Strong is already is right there. He can eat a pin. It doesn't fucking matter that Roddy Strong takes a pin. Pin Roddy Strong. They lost their first fucking match so that we can have a casting match between Darby and fucking Gabe Kidd on Dynamite. Get the fuck out of here. If this feud isn't going to end, like, at least give Orange Cassidy something else to do. But like, no, the Dog should fucking win. What are we doing? You're not going to have them win? Come on, that's stupid. I don't want to see Darby Allin. I don't want to see Gabe Kidd. I don't want to see David Finlay. Clark Connors, you're cool. I hope for you for a better gig. But OC is slumming it on this, and Roderick Strong is there. And Roderick Strong, in later interview, said that he might be in. He doesn't know for sure. He might be in the conglomeration now. He is softened, which is minor character work, so sure. In the main event, Hangman Adam Page lost. He can no longer, ever, challenge for the AEW World Championship. MJF won in a match that was violent and gory and bloody and fucked up and great, that used breakaway glass incredibly successfully, that used a lot of barbed wire really well. MJF, the light tubes. MJF is great at not wanting to do dangerous bumps in kayfabe, because in reality, of course, he's coming up with a lot of them. He's a student of the game. He showed up looking like a cross between Terry Funk and Chris Candido. The Terry Funk part was because of the Texas death, but also he is a student of the game, and the Chris Candido is just because he really fucking loves Chris Candido, and it's great because that is not a wrestler that a lot of people go out of their way to really cherish and love, and so it is very funny that is a guy that MGF really loves. So also Chris Candido, maybe his gear was a tribute to Terry, but also he likes Chris Candido. I thought that match was stellar. It's violent. I never want to rewatch it because I'm not a deathmatch guy these days. I saw too many death matches live and in person. I don't need to see them anymore. There were too many shows I went to where I left the building with flecks of blood in my hair. Not my blood, but other people's blood. I don't really need to see that shit anymore like that. I don't really need to see staples. And fucking sword fights with light tubes. I don't really need it. I will say this. I'll end with this. 2 things. 1, I fucking loved the table spot. The lighting equipment, sound equipment, tating spot, because it was sound equipment. I enjoyed the birthday card. Looked like he made it in Print Shop Pro. Yes, I thought that was very good. But the sound, look, when you're mixing live sound, you do want to be alone. It makes sense to be over there. All of the sparks, the continued smoke that was coming out of it, I thought the effect was really well done, and I thought it was very fun and cool and cartoonish, in the same way that I love the bit where Max was running from Hangman and ran around the ring and then got cut off by Hangman and hit with the trash can lid. That's cartoony bullshit, and I love that stuff. I think there's a place for that. It's fucking wrestling. It doesn't have to be serious stuff, even in a death match. Levity is important. You want those laughing moments. Every horror director knows that shit. So I think it's fine to put that in a little bit of goofs here and there. I thought it was great. I don't want to see it again because it was so fucking violent. And I don't need that level of violence in my life anymore. I can do without that shit. But I did think it's pretty fucking well done and pretty fucking good. So, yeah, they got me on that. And then before we go to the pause for the cause, one last just reminder. Me talking about AEW is not an endorsement of AEW. It is a company that has wrestlers that I admire and respect and enjoy their work. I think as a company, they put on a product that I can appreciate. I think their pay-per-views are too long, but it is filled with quality matches, where the match I liked the least was the in-ring, was a match that was still pretty okay and did involve Gabe Kidd getting handcuffed so he couldn't get back in the ring, which I thought was funny. But also, it is soured. My thoughts on AEW are soured. A company that will not run the pace, but will not put up on matches a former world champion because she is trans. And they're scared of certain states restricting their ability to run wrestling in that state because they do not want to go to court over that stuff. Instead, they just don't book Nyla Rose. Instead, but they are willing to give money and to promote an appearance of a piece of shit transphobe. And that makes me fucking sad. It makes me very sad and bums me out. So hopefully, in the future, AEW pulls less of this goddamn bullshit. One can only hope. Those are my feelings on that. I liked the show. I wanted to love the show. I can't say I love the show because of Rhonda, which is a shame. Now is the part of the stream where I am going to talk about ways that you can support the channel and what I do here, so I can build model kits that look fucking rad while yelling about things that I am passionate about. First and foremost, if you're currently a subscriber to the Baer Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the tier 2 blue emote in the chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here through Cash Money or your Prime Gaming token. Yes, we did shift the vibe quite a bit. That is something we do here now and again. But yeah, if you're a subscriber, you can use that with Cash Money or your Prime Gaming token. It is a way to support what I do here. It is just one of the many ways you can do that. I'll talk about other ways, but it is the hard pivot, says Lord Cratchit, indeed. But it is just a way to support me, and it would mean a lot if you consider it. I would love that. We are currently at 24 subscribers. My goal is to get to 30. If you would like to gift a sub or become a subscriber yourself, or throw some bits and coins. That's another way to support what I do here. Those are ways you could do that. You don't have to do any of this stuff, but if you want to, that would be great. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/PatBear. Over my Patreon, there is a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. There are, crazily enough, different rewards for different tiers. You get different things. Consider joining me on Patreon. $1 a month is, hey, fucking a dollar is a dollar. I get it. But a couple people throwing a dollar my way a month builds up and adds up, and it means I can buy more and more model kits. It means I can buy expensive model kits. I would like to buy another of those like $35 to $40 Transformers kits, the blocky kits. But like, that's a lot of money to put on a model kit, whereas I could instead buy 2 cheaper model kits. So you understand. Your support means I can start doing that and buying other stuff. I also have a YouTube channel at youtube.com/PatBaer. Over my YouTube channel, you can, of course, subscribe for free. Please do. I make videos that you might like. Also, there's a membership. For just $2 a month, you can become a member. And you get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. I'll send a message out, and you get those videos before other people get them, which is kind of neat. Kind of neat, huh? Let's see. Those are monthly ways to support me. If you just want to throw a buck in the old tip jar, let me get, where's the money thing? Yeah, there it goes. You can always do that. And everything I make through direct donations to my PayPal or my Ko-Fi. From YouTube, which includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps me out, through Patreon and through Twitch, all goes into a fund. And from that fund, I pull money out to buy model kits and Lego sets. I just bought a couple kits. One of them is a G-Quux kit that I've had my eye on for a while. And the other one is a knockoff. It is a third party. We've rarely built third-party kits on this stream, but it is supposedly is a very good third party that is doing a like modern high grade of a kit that we don't think Bandai's ever going to do a modern remake of. So I picked that up, and we'll talk more about that when it comes in the mail. It's going to take a little while because it's coming from USA Gundam Store, but whatever. I was able to buy those new kits because of your continued support, so thank you very much for that. Now, those are going to join my backlog, and eventually I'll build them. If you have a kit you'd love me to put together, and you want to buy it, well, you could do that from my Amazon wish list, and then it would jump the queue and become the next thing I built and get a dedicated video on my YouTube channel. You could do that. Over on my Amazon wish list, I've got model kits and Lego sets, inexpensive kits, expensive kits. I've got a couple of those blockies kits, as I mentioned, some cool model kits, all kinds of different things that I would love to put together, and you could buy it for me to build it. It's just that simple. So if you see something there you'd like to see me put together, you can always pick that up, and it would mean a lot to me if you consider doing that. Thank you very much for your consideration. Now, I also have a wish list on Throne, because it's nice to have Amazon alternatives. So if you want to see that list, you can check the link there in chat. If you're watching this later on YouTube, what's up, VOD watchers? You can find all of this information in the show notes for the show description of this video. And let's see. The most convoluted way to support me financially is to go to USA Gundam Store and buy a gift card. If you go to USA Gundam Store, you buy a gift card, you can then send me a whisper on Twitch or a private message on Blue Sky or Mastodon with that gift card code. And then I will use that gift card code to buy something from USA Gundam Store, like I just did. There was a St. Patrick's Day discount this weekend on USA Gundam Store, and so I used that to save a little bit of money, and I had some points accumulated from them, so I saved a little bit of money there. But also, if you wanted to get a gift card, you could do that, and then I would use that gift card and buy something fun on USA Gundam Store. It's another way to support me. You can make it happen. Let's see. That's all of the ways to financial. If you want to support me, but you don't want to spend any money, join my Discord. We'd love to have you hang out in the Discord. It'd be nice. Today, I put up a new episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club, and I would love for you to check out that episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club and watch it. It is me talking about some of my favorite original anime of the 2020s. Look, I love a show that is based on a light novel or a video game or a manga. I love reading a manga and then seeing the anime adaptation. But also, sometimes it's just fucking cool to just like be able to watch a goddamn thing that you're just like, oh, I don't know, like I'm checking out this cool original. I don't know what's gonna happen next week. They said it was one thing, And then it turns out the series is more than what they said. And it's got so much going on. So I talk about 5 shows that I really like from that have that in common, the originals from 2020s that I think are great. And maybe you'll find out a show that you want to check out. It was also another excuse for me to talk about Decadence, a show that I think about a lot because it had a minor bait and switch, but it's just a really fucking vibrant and great show that I wish we got a second season of. I don't understand why we didn't, but I wish we did. It was really good. And then Kuma Baer is my weekly anime recommendation series. And on this episode of Kuma Baer, I talked about the Girls Doing Things show, Pon no Michi. It's a show you might not have seen, but you should see. It's really good. Pon no Michi is about a girl that she has to start hanging out. She can't hang out at home with all her friends, so she ends up at a closed mahjong parlor that her parents used to own, and she cleans it up, and her friends hang out there and they play mahjong, and there's a bird that contains the spirit of a mahjong player, and that's weird, but the show itself is very good, and I think you'll like it. You should check it out. I do like talking about fun Girls Doing Things shows, and that's one of them that didn't come out when it came out in Japan. It didn't have distribution in America, and now it does, so you can watch it on High Dive, and that's neat. All right, so I'm going to talk about a manga that I've been reading, and then I'm going to talk about an anime that I have been watching, and we'll get into both those things in just a moment. But first, we're going to transition dramatically to the overhead camera, and I'm going to drink some water, and we're going to do that right now. All right, let's talk about a manga that I have been reading. It's called My Second Life, or so I thought, but it's actually my third life. That's right. We got ourselves an isekai. So our main character lived his life the best he could. He became lord of his domain at age 16 because a number of accidents and betrayals left his parents and his older brothers dead. He's just a normal guy. He's just a dummy. He shouldn't have ever been in control of the people, but he did his best to support them as much as he could. He even played the fool when necessary. But the country was invaded, his territory was taken, and in exchange for the lives of his citizens, he gladly faced he could have ran, but instead of running, he gladly faced execution in order to save his people. And he died. But magic happened. For some reason, magic happened, and he flashed back to before his parents died, beginning so early in his life, and he's there. Back when he was born, and he's reliving his life. And as the title suggests, it's his second life, except it isn't, because he recognizes traveling back in time and having a regression allows him to realize he was isekai. This is a world where so now he has his knowledge of being a Japanese person. And modern knowledge. And then also he has more skills that he did the first time around, which he doesn't understand why. But he also has his memory of all the disasters that are facing his kingdom and his people. But also he's like, okay, I'm still a kid, so it's not like I have super strength. I can't fight wars. And I can't be like telling my dad, like, hey, don't go to this battle, like, or go with these people or whatever. So he starts small. He learns to read earlier than he should, and then he just starts reading books. And those books, quote unquote, just so happen to have good advice for certain problems. And he starts making advances. He figures out a way to get some some mercenaries. He like convinces some mercenaries that they should stick around and be like part of his army, because they will go on to do great things, but they will be betrayed and die. And he's like, instead of that happening, what if they stuck around here? Oh, Mike is breaking up, says last week. Hopefully we're still good now. Let me do a little check here. Testing 1, 2, 3. Listen to myself talk. Testing 1, 2, 3. Listen to myself talk. Okay, sound all right. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I might have bumped the mic there. It was weird intermittent issue you have. Okay. Sending a message to the rest of us. So what it most likely is my mic cable. I eventually need to replace this mic cable. The mic cable that is that I'm currently using goes from the mic here to USB. I probably need to switch that out. It's probably just how it's been run. It's like it gets a little waggly there. It's not expensive. I just haven't done it. Because I should be able to tap this mic cable and not have it, this USB cable, I should say, and not have it interfere with the mic, but it does do that. So, like, I eventually have to figure that out. That's how that works. Anyway, so yeah, he's like, okay, it's interesting because he's not overpowered, right? He doesn't come with all these abilities. The overpoweredness is he has future knowledge, but then as things start to get rewritten, some of that knowledge becomes irrelevant, right? So it's like, well, what's important and what's not important? And what changes can he make? And it's, like I said, it's slow going. Like, he's got a list of disasters and he's trying his best, but he's like, eventually I'm gonna run out of things I can do. And he's like, and there are things that I can't fix. There are problems that I can't solve. And it's, I don't know. I found it to be a really enjoyable read. I think the art is not spectacular, but it's certainly good. And it's fun to watch this guy like struggle for his destiny, to fight the what he already lived through, which I think is awesome. So that is my second life, or so I thought, but it's actually my third life. And yeah, I thought this was like really stellar, and a really good book to check out that I would recommend people check out if they're looking for an isekai that is a little slower paced and has a little bit more character development than your typical isekai. Yeah, it's a good one. All right, now let's talk about Noble Reincarnation, episode 11. We are almost done with Noble Reincarnation. Let's see. At the end of the last episode, he got a new power and a new beast, and that they begin to glow, and he had this weird, like a weird vision. He was in a different space than he normally is in, and he was like in the stars. It was like he was having like a vision of some kind, and it was trippy. It was kind of weirding him out that was a thing that he was experiencing. But that's over. The village that he had been helping out received a bunch of money. And they're all amazed by that. The girl that he helped save, the soldier girl that he helped save, pledges her loyalty and wants to serve him. And he's like, you got to fucking figure your shit out about the pride that you need to love something more than your own pride. Once you can learn to accept help, then you can start helping me. So she agrees to do that. So we're going to probably see her later. But right now, she has not joined the crew. And then the Emperor arrives. And Noah shows off some new skills. And it is decided that Noah is now strong enough to be able to accompany the emperor on his travels. He can now help protect the emperor. Which, who's going to fuck with the emperor? Well, we'll find out later. They're traveling, and the emperor starts talking about how he plans to disinherit Albert because he is not fit to rule. So Albert is next in line, but Albert has been pulling some dumb shit. He is an idiot. Albert, all the way back to the first episode, we got introduced to Albert because he's the one that gave Leviathan, the cool sword that Noah uses, that has also eaten a lot of people and sucked out their souls. And it just happened to work out. But really, he put his youngest brother in jeopardy with that stunt. So obviously, he's had it out, and now he hasn't directly tried to take over to attack the emperor, right? Because the emperor doesn't want to fucking kill his son. Like, he doesn't want to do that. And also, it would be bad for the country if the emperor can't be control of his sons, and anyone that wants to be king can suddenly start doing whatever they want. Like, it's bad. It's a bad look. It's bad for the people. So Noah has to figure that stuff out and what to do about it. Because also, it's very clear that Albert keeps trying to fuck with or kill his own brother. And that's the actual thing, is that, like, he's next in line to be king. There's no fucking reason for him to be going after our guy Noah, other than he's threatened by Noah, right? So it's just, like, childish. Because Albert hasn't committed any crimes against the emperor, he doesn't necessarily have to die. So they plot together a way to do it. They have orders. They're basically going to, like, disinherit him. And so they send out the orders. Now, here's the thing that I think is better explained in the manga and better explained in the light novel, I assume, that is not well explained here in the anime. They hand a document to basically a eunuch, to somebody that works there, a servant, who is supposedly deaf, right? And Noah notices right away that servant reacted. That servant read the document, because of course servants shouldn't be able to read, because they're just supposed to be able to transfer the documents. And it is they suspect, well, they figure out quickly this guy can hear, he was lying, and also he can read. So this is he might be working for Albert, because the way he reacts. But they can't prove it, so they just execute him without finding out who sent him, because that would embarrass a lot of people if there was proof that Albert was conspiring against the emperor and had spies in the royal palace. Like, he's just really doing a bad job of being that guy. Like, he can't really be that guy. He doesn't have it in him to pull off this subterfuge stuff. Let's see. Sorry, so let me just get this connected here. Oh, at the wrong piece. That's why. I was like, why isn't this piece going in? Because it was the wrong one, everybody. It didn't work because I was doing it wrong. Which is not the first time, and maybe not the last. I realized I'm doing something fucking wrong. All right, and then we need... yeah. Then we just need B24, and then I can pan... These legs are coming together pretty easy. We're definitely going to finish this kit. I feel like we're going to finish this kit on Thursday, because we're just about done with the leg. All we have left is the waist and the backpack. So I'll have to do another Patreon poll. Probably. I'll probably have to do another poll on Patreon. Let me check one thing real quick here. When's that coming? Okay, yeah, so yeah. Yeah, my USA Gundam store order hasn't even shipped. I was like, maybe it's shipped, and I can and maybe it'll be here in time and can be added to my Patreon poll, which I'll probably do on Wednesday. But no, that is not shipped yet. So unfortunately, that is not going to be something that I can check, which is okay. It's all right. I ordered it this weekend. It hasn't shipped yet. It's fine. Hopefully, it will arrive soonish. Anyway, getting back to this episode, while I continue to work on this, I'll say that as I get this leg parts done here, go. And so now I will be able to panel line the legs here. Oh, I didn't do the connecting piece on. Wait, oops. There it is. There we go. Now I can panel line it, although I did realize I didn't do, there's one part of this build I didn't do yet, so I got to do that, which is I got to build the connector here, and then I can panel line this thing. All right, so yeah, the servant was definitely working for Albert, so they have executed, and they suspect he works for Albert. The Emperor talks a little bit about Leviathan and the powers that our guy has. Yeah, I've never found USA Gundam store to have the fastest processing times. No. So, Lashbrook, the real thing about that is if they don't have a sale going on, your order can get fulfilled really easily. When they have a sale and their orders go up, they have trouble keeping up with demand in that regard, which is like fair. That's a fair problem to have. Like, it makes sense that when their numbers go up, but it's in like, well, you know, still, it'd be nice if you could get those orders. Yeah, it's not the fastest, whatever, family-owned company. I'm not complaining too much, but they do occasionally. I wish that they would maybe do a couple less sales if that's going to cause a problem. So let's see. Next day, Noah goes to visit Albert. And apparently we find out later, because a woman shows up named Olivia, and she claims that Albert is planning a coup. That Albert, who suspects that he will be stripped of his authority as the crown prince, is now planning to take over the empire, which is stupid. Like, come on, dude. You're not stronger than Noah. You're certainly not stronger than the Emperor, who is probably stronger than Noah. Like, that's just not going to happen, my guy. Like, you're not taking over anything. Also, we saw another bit of Alice, the girl that wears the fun hat, the girl that sings. There's like a girl that sings. She's only in a couple episodes, but I love her dumb hat so much that I'm happy to see her. She's a fun, dumb character. I don't think it's supposed to be fun that she's got a dumb hat, but she does, and it is a character trait that I enjoy. This is a costume piece, but I really think it's fun. So yeah, we're building some climactic fight stuff in the next episode. This manga goes on for a long time. There is a time skip in the manga, and there is a separate side manga about what happens in the time skip, because which is odd. It's odd they did that, but they did that. The separate manga I have not read yet because it has not been picked up by anybody. So hopefully at some point I'll be able to read that, because I do like Noble Reincarnation. I'm excited for the final episode of that next week. Of course, next Tuesday, not tomorrow, to be clear. Next Tuesday, I will be doing my wrap up of the winter season and my preview of the spring season. We're not skipping spring. That will be a week from tomorrow. Pat Bear's Anime Club Live, which I always love doing. So as that's a reminder, folks, if you're watching anything, because I love to interact with chat during that recording. That's why I do it live, so that people can say, like, if I'm like, oh, I didn't watch this show, people are like, oh, I watched it, or I'll be like, I love The Invisible Man and his soon-to-be bride, and people will be like, I actually thought that was kind of weird and not that fun, and like, I don't like shows that involve like relationships that are spun out of a difference in power. And it's like, yeah, that's a fair point. I totally understand that. I have a soft spot for it in fiction, not in reality. I don't like it in reality, but I do like it in fiction. So yeah, that'll be a week from tomorrow. Tomorrow's stream, I should say, now is the part of tonight's stream where I ask you, what have you been watching? What have you been playing? What are you up to? What are you into? What do you got going on? I always love hearing from you about those things and thanks. So if you've been playing any video games or watching any movies or reading anything, you can let me know. And while I give you time to write that into the chat, I will tell you that I have a stream tomorrow that I would like you to join me for. There was a new map, a bonus map, a free bonus map in Power Wash Simulator 2, which I have not tried yet. It is the Miniature Garden. And I will be doing that on stream tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope you'll join me for that. I love Power Wash Simulator, and I think the second game is real good. And so I look forward to playing more of that. Next month, we will have the Adventure Time pack. But right now, we have to settle for one cool new map. So I'll be playing that tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to that, and I hope you'll join me for that. There is a new Hearthstone expansion coming out tomorrow as well. I will be taking a look at that at the end of the month, so I'll give some time to get some new decks. My favorite deck in Standard is a bunch of those cards that make the deck work are now going to be wild, and so I need a new Standard deck to play. I have, right now, from theory crafting and watching some streamers who got access to the cards early for some events, I have 5 Standard decks to try out. Well, sorry, 4 Standard decks and 1 wild deck to try out. I don't know how that's going to work. And then for the future, I will be able to see if any of those decks make sense. Also, I'm just kind of keeping them because I'm going to open a bunch of packs tomorrow. I got a bunch of packs to open up with some gold that I have accumulated in the game. I didn't play today because I wanted to save as much experience for tomorrow for new decks. So I'm going to be doing that while Jeff Gersman is doing his thing on the podcast. I'm going to be playing a lot of Hearthstone, trying to get some wins and get my work on the Battle Pass, the free version of the Battle Pass, of course, because I don't play the paid version, or I don't want to pay into the Battle Pass. So I want to try that out, get some gold, do some stuff in there. Like I said, I have some decks to try, but I have to open packs to get cards to see if there are any cards that I can use for these decks, or if I have to craft some cards, which is expensive. And so I would like to not have to do that too much. But yeah, if you guys have been up to anything you want to share in the chat, let me know. There was a Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling show this past weekend that I did not watch yet. I don't know when I'm going to get to it, because starting tomorrow, there's a bunch of Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling shows in Texas. They're on a Texas tour. And I have to figure out when I'm going to watch that. Because like I said, I don't know when I'm going to check that out. They've got a show tomorrow at, what is that? That's 2000 hours, so that's 8 p.m. Yeah, they got a show at 8 p.m. and they got a show at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, and then they've got a show on the 21st, which is Saturday. They got a Tuesday and Wednesday shows in Austin, and then a show on Saturday in Dallas. And so I gotta make time to watch all those. And the Dallas show is, let's see, when does that start? That starts it's an afternoon show. It is starts at 15:50. So that is 1600 hours, which is 4 p.m. Someday I'll get better at military time, but I'm not good at it. All right, so that's 4 p.m. Could probably watch that live. And then they have another Houston show on which is also at 4 p.m. and that is on the 22nd. So wait, when is the 20? That's the 21st and the 22nd. Okay, so I could do double. I could do doubles, I guess. I think that's probably the best way to do it. I don't know. I don't have a good way to watch 4 Tokyo Joshi Wrestling shows. Like, I'm not gonna watch some of them. I can't watch live because of streams. Like, I'm not watching tomorrow's and Wednesdays because of other things. So I think I'm probably gonna do that. Let's see. John says, getting to the end of Persona 1, and a friend has convinced me to start up Zelda or Oracle of Seasons soon. Okay, sure. That's kind of out of left field, but all right. And the last episode of Genosha came out last Saturday, and that was an enjoyable show. Yeah, John, I'm behind. I'm like 5 episodes behind because I originally didn't realize it was going to be a 2-core. So I thought it had a weird ending, but now it's like, oh no. So I'm going to, I'm probably going to get caught up on that show. I like the first season well enough. I generally don't necessarily like the death game kind of thing, but the time element, the timey-wimey stuff and the alternate reality stuff I thought was interesting. And they did kind of explain what was going on as it went in a way that I didn't dislike. So yeah, I will get caught up on that show. Lord Crasher says, I've been playing some MLB The Show 26 and enjoying that a lot. Nice. To follow up, allowing you to play the career mode as a woman, you can now have women start appearing on minor league teams so that they'll eventually make it up to the minors. So you're not the only woman that ever exists in that league. Nice. That's fun, Lord Crashington. I didn't know that was part of the game this year, and that's cool. That shit is neat. So, hell yeah. Love to hear that. Glad you're having a good time with that game. I hope you have more fun with it as it goes. All right, we need I don't have that poly. Yeah. Hey, oh God. I was so worried, folks. I'm like, I don't have a polycap that it says I need. They're over here. They're a separate polycap. They're not part of the main polycap thing. And I was very concerned. I was like, oh, I can't build this waste if I don't have this polycap. But don't worry about it. I do have that polycap. My concerns are not warranted. All right. Lashberg says, I watched a bunch of wrestling this weekend. I'm planning to cancel my Crunchyroll sub, so I'm catching up on One Piece. Skipped the Fishman Island remaster and went back to Egghead, and it's nice they made a recap movie. Yes, that is nice. I totally understand. I mean, look, if I didn't talk about anime in so many videos that I make consistently on stream, which obviously I do, I make a lot of videos about anime. Make videos, I talk about it on stream. If I didn't do all of that, I might not always have a Crunchyroll subscription, but let's be real, I watch a lot of shows on Crunchyroll, so I would probably only get High Dive a couple times a year if I didn't cover anime throughout the year. Certainly, right now, if there's one show I want to watch, that's enough to get High Dive, and it probably wouldn't be if I didn't talk about anime so much on stream. That's just my general feeling on that. All right, so I don't know which direction this is supposed to face. It says it wants to go like this. Okay, so it goes like that. All right, I think I'm doing this correctly. I'll find out if I fucked up later. Lord Crash says, we had a hell of a weather day, mid-70s yesterday, and the temps have suddenly gone down, a good bit of snow tonight. We had, so my area, South Carolina, did not get hit with all of the rain and bad weather that other parts of the state hit and other parts of the region hit. We did not suffer as much as other people did, which I am certainly grateful for. But we did get hit with a few things here and there that were certainly not great. Okay, so this looks like this, and so it goes like that, right? And then how does this? I'm getting frustrated. That's not good. It's like, there it goes. Okay, so it goes like that. All right, goes like that. That's how it fits in, and this goes in there. Okay. But yeah, so our weather was kind of all over the place today, but other people certainly had it worse, so I'm not complaining at all. And Dirty says, roll credits on Docked, still playing DQ7 and ACNH, it's Animal Crossing. And restarted Death Stranding in Director's Cut Edition. Oh, nice. Okay. Cool. That sounds fun. Glad to hear that. Hell yeah, everybody. Playing some video games. I'm still running around in Fallout 4 with a ton of mods. I just beat the Courser in the main storyline there. I got the Courser chip, and now I need to go find somebody to take that Courser chip and turn it into the next step, which is take that ding-dang chip and make it so that I can build a teleportation device. I'm going to go back to the glowing sea. And then also, I killed Lorenzo in the Cabot House quest. I always kill Lorenzo, if you're wondering. I never side with Lorenzo because, look, are his kids and his wife in the right? No. But I don't want to let that guy loose. Same way that Pikmin always has to die. Pikmin doesn't get to go be a serial killer and run around killing folks and be loose. Not on my watch. Not in my Commonwealth. No siree, Bob. Never gonna let that shit happen. Not gonna let that happen in my Commonwealth. I'm always gonna fuck them all up. I gotta fuck them up. I definitely think I'm going to finish this kit on Thursday because the legs came together faster than I would have guessed. And now I'm doing most of the waist here. I don't think I might finish the waist here. We might get body complete on this kit tonight. I don't know. But at the very least, we're gonna get this together. I have not watched the Oscars because I was watching wrestling last night. I might watch them at some point. I am aware of the results. And I am happy for most, and I am sad for a couple, but it's cool. It's fun. I've only seen a couple of the movies that came out last year that were nominated. So, because I don't go to the movie theater, so if they came out early enough in the year, or they came to home, like rental or whatever. That's how I see movies. So sometimes I don't see the movies that early. But yeah, they were cool. What I saw there, I saw some clips of Conan hosting, and he's consistently a good host. So thought that was nice. Saw a couple of the live performances. Thought those were good. Happy for the K-pop Demon Hunter girlies out there. Winning some awards, doing some good shit. And here. All right, we're now done with the waist. So we can panel line this. And we can get close to body complete, and then we'll just do the backpack. So we're definitely going to finish this kit on Thursday. I thought we would, but now I know for sure that shit's happening. It would be weird because all we have to do is the backpack. Now the backpack is big and it's like, and the weapons. The backpack and the weapons. Like, these are not small little things, but they are. And then the backpack can come off and can go on the arms for like extra weapons, which I think is pretty cool. It's not like a flight mode, but it's almost like a flight mode. I think that is silly in a way that I appreciate. Basically, it can go like the backpack just goes on the arms for like a big double gun. It's silly in a way that I appreciate and enjoy. So tomorrow, Power Simulator 2, the new free map on there, so that'll be good. I think I'm gonna pop this off panel one. Looking nice. I want this to look nice. So yeah, that's good. And then working on this on Thursday, and then starting something new. I'll do a poll on Wednesday for my $10 patrons about when I start next, kind of the dregs of the backlog, because I haven't gotten the thing I bought from USA Gundam Store. And then what I said earlier, I meant to say earlier was I went to go buy a model kit from my Amazon. Actually, I bought a thing on USA Gundam Store because it was a sale, because the kit I was interested in buying from my own wish list, somebody bought. I don't know who, but somebody bought over the weekend a kit for my wish list. So whenever that comes, that'll get priority about me building. But I don't think it'll be here in like a day. I think it'll take longer to arrive. So whenever that does, that becomes the next thing on deck, obviously. But so yeah, we'll have to go in with whatever is in my backlog, which is a few things. I do have a few things in there. I always try to have a few things. I don't have, some people do, I just don't. I never got one. I don't have a preferred VPN. I don't use the VPN. I know some people bought, they have My AW and they got the package so they can watch the wrestling on there and they watch the pay-per-view on there. I didn't. I used Amazon Prime because I already own Amazon Prime because of deliveries for stuff and also anime. Not as many, but certainly two of my favorite shows last year were on there. And so I just did Amazon, which does a good job with the pay-per-view stuff. But also a thing that's weird is I don't pay tax on the pay-per-views. I don't know why, but they don't charge me tax. And occasionally I have promotional credits. So I had $3 off the pay-per-view. This last pay-per-view, which was nice. And by next month, if I end up paying for the show, I'll have a few more credits probably by then to use. Be nice to get a couple bucks off. And like I said, I don't pay tax on it. I don't know why, but they don't charge tax on it from Amazon. So works out pretty good for me. But yeah, so it would be a different story if we didn't have, if my parents didn't have cable, because obviously I live with my folks. If they didn't have cable, then it would be a different story if I had a service to watch wrestling, right? Like I would have probably had Fight Plus or, Triller Plus and paid for a, like log in, get it started, then switch the VPN back to the regular so you're not paying for all that VPN nonsense and just do it like that. Like I'd probably do that if I had to, right? If I had to, then you do it. But since I don't have to because I have the cable login, that's just how I watch wrestling. Or get like HBO Max, right? Like that's another option, right? Like you could do that, or you could just get HBO Max. Because that way you could watch everything like that. But I don't want to have HBO Max. The Oscars was nice to see Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan win their first Oscars. Indeed. And then Michael B. Jordan went to celebrate at In-N-Out, and I think that's fun. That's fun that he went to In-N-Out to celebrate his big win. That made me smile. I was like, hell yeah. Have fun, Michael B. Jordan. Have a good time. Perhaps you don't even need to pay for a VPN since you need it for such short amounts. Yes, Lord Lashbrook, you can use free VPNs if the service that you're using, if by just logging in and starting it with the VPN is enough to trick it. There are some services where you need to constantly be using a VPN, so then you would have to pay for it if you want to do that. So you're right, Lashbrook. You don't really need to pay for it if you do that. But because I have it for cable, I didn't ever use Fight Plus or Triller Plus now, so it's fine. Yes, the first cinematographer, the first woman cinematographer to win an Oscar happening in 2026 is fucking sad. It is very sad. She is the first a lot of things to win for cinematography in that category, and it is bonkers. The list of her being first is crazy. Long overdue. Michael B. Jordan is We don't know this for sure, but at least in acting, Michael B. Jordan is probably, again, we don't know this for sure. He is probably the first person to win an Oscar who has made anime music videos. We don't know this for sure, but it is believed that might be true. Because again, we got to narrow it down to the acting categories, right? Because if you're getting into editing and stuff like that, there's just, it becomes more and more likely. But yes, the first weeb to win. But again, he might not be Lord Crashington. There certainly other people have won Best Actor who like anime. They might not consider themselves to be weeaboos, but it's outspoken. But but it's fairly confident he's the first Best Actor who has made anime music videos. We're body complete on this kit, and it looks fucking awesome. And we're gonna finish it on Thursday, and I'm excited about that. He definitely made Naruto merch. Yes, he certainly has. He's the first Best Actor to have a collaboration with Naruto. All right, so that's going to do it for tonight's stream. We are going to go on a raid. That is how we end every stream around here. We're going to go find someone doing cool stuff and go spend some time with them. I almost said ghoul stuff. Hopefully they're not doing anything that involves ghouls or ghosts or goblins. But gremlins would be okay, because there is a VTuber who is a gremlin that we like. We like Liz, and she is a gremlin VTuber. So if Liz is streaming, we might raid Liz. But it's a Monday, so in general, if we can, as Injustice, we always end with a raid. We do. But we can't raid Mary Kish because Mary Kish is not streaming tonight. So it's okay. Hey, also, she doesn't owe me shit. Mary Kish doesn't have to be streaming tonight, and it's okay. She's at South by Southwest. Nice. Good for her. Hey, speaking of Liz, let's go raid Liz. My friend Liz, who is, again, of course, is a gremlin VTuber. Oh, wait, she's almost wrapping up. I literally can tell she's almost wrapping up. Hey, shout out to Liz. We're not going to raid you tonight, Liz. Because Liz is almost done, it seems like. So sorry to tease you there, but she's been streaming for 10 hours, so I know she's almost done. Which is also so many fucking hours, Liz. Goddamn. We're gonna go raid my buddy Ray FK. We're gonna go raid Jordan, who's playing Marathon. So we'll go see what's going on in the wonderful world of Marathon and what's going on with my buddy Ray. So come along on this one, Ray FK. Go see Jordan. And come back tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, for some Power Wash Simulator 2, the new free map. It'll be fun. The miniature garden. It's going to be a good time. Or miniature village, whatever it's called. We'll hang out there. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.